Wisconsin's unemployment rate dropped to 8.5% last month. It's good news, a decline of 3.6% since May. But with hundreds of thousands still waiting on unemployment payments, lawmakers say more needs to be done. Democratic lawmakers are proposing a package of bills designed to help alleviate a backlog in processing those unemployment claims.
The package of 8 bills includes measures that would allow people on Social Security disability to also receive unemployment if they've been laid off. Another bill would temporarily suspend the $500 per week wage limit. The proposal would also give the DWD authority to waive work search or job registration requirements in certain cases. And while we're still hearing stories about people who cannot get through to the DWD, we're also hearing about stories about having claims rejected for reasons that might seem unfair, especially during a pandemic.
AJ Bayatpour is digging deeper into how one law removed a number of exceptions that are now making people ineligible for unemployment benefits.
On Tuesday, we introduced you to Morgan Giddings in Lone Rock. She quit her part-time job in early March and less than a month later got laid off by her full-time employer. Her application rejected because she did not make enough money from the time she voluntarily left a job.
I reached out to the governor. I had spoken to a senator's secretary.
Michaela Lawver of Appleton saw the story. She contacted us because the same thing happened to her.
Because I voluntarily quit Barnes & Noble and I was fully capable of still working there. I didn't qualify for unemployment until I hit, it was $1,200 was my minimum that I was supposed to hit.
Until 2013, there were more exceptions for people who voluntarily left a job, including cases where an employee left his or her job in one of 2 or more concurrently held positions, at least one of which is full-time work. In 2013, then Governor Scott Walker signed Act 20 into law. Thursday, Walker says he would not mind temporary changes that increase eligibility, but believes that's not the real problem.
Making changes there is fine, but that's not the hang-up. Now, let's be clear, the issue when you talk about since March is not because of changes that were made in the past, it's because they do not have enough bodies.
I hope that something can be done for those of us that are still struggling. I mean, we're doing the best that we can, and in times like this, it's just not enough.
In Madison, AJ Bayatpour, 27 News.
The State Department of Administration today said it is transferring some of its staff to help the DWD process claims. As far as the issue for people working multiple jobs not making enough after quitting one of those jobs, none of the Democrats' proposals today would solve that particular problem.